There are a surprising number of books here. I can't help but wonder if there are any ancient prescriptions or medical texts.
Sorry to disappoint, but I already took a look. They're pretty much all children's books.
Is that so? Well, some fairy tales may still have therapeutic benefits in treating mood-related disorders.
Children have all sorts of wonderful dreams, with more colors than even the feathers of the dusk bird. But once they grow up, their once vibrant dreams slowly begin to fade. Luckily, we can use the written word to make a record of our dreams before they disappear. Maybe, when it comes down to it, that's what fairy tales are. I'm really curious to know what's at the end of this maze, too. And yes, I know that as we go further in, we're bound to meet tougher and tougher monsters, and maybe even suffer some setbacks along the way. But after the winds and rain have passed, the saplings in the forest grow a little bigger and a little stronger. We'll only get to see the blue sky above the treetops if we keep pressing on, right?
Multiple scents all mingled together. Looks like many people have used this place as a rest stop. There's a floral scent, you say? Ah, yes. That would be the plant-based essential oil I just applied. What do you think? Want to check out my freshly groomed tail? Just as knowledge is often acquired only through hands-on learning, victory is usually secured by overcoming a challenge. In that sense, domain explorers are knowledge seekers too, just with a different methodology. Of course, it's not suited to everyone. I'd encourage people to stick to their own areas of expertise.
Compared to turning the pages myself and hearing that rustling sound, I prefer it when someone reads the story to me. I like to lie down on someone's warm, soft lap, close my eyes, curl up, and lose myself in the story. Staring at you? No, I wasn't. Are you thinking up ways to beat up those monsters? 'Cause I have a suggestion for you. You just need to sneak up behind them, lay low, wait till they're not looking, and then pounce! Oh, you don't like it? But it works on even the sneakiest squirrels, I swear. I do hope I'll get to read a story about a rebellious princess. You know, the type who sheds her long, cumbersome skirts and learns equestrianism, swordplay, perhaps even medicine. She'll live freely, take to the field to defeat evil personally, and defend the people and nation by her own hand. You know what? I might just write that story myself.
Our foes grow in strength, but that isn't entirely a bad thing. You need constant challenges to keep your skills strong and your judgment sharp. Otherwise, you lose your edge. There's no useful experience to be gleaned from plateauing. We've got each other's backs, so let's push ourselves today.
Let me guess what you need most right now. A medicinal drink that can restore your full strength in one sip, or maybe a cream that can instantly heal your wounds. How'd I do? All this and more available right here, right now. Buy in bulk for big discounts. Don't let the price put you off. You're paying for all the hard work I and my private associates put in to bring these goods all the way from Sumeru.
The
those who lurk within this place are but lowly pawns, the last remnants of the usurper's army. By the time the Prinzessin of Ertelung stands before them, my bolts of downfall will have long since severed their ties with the forces of fate. My subjects will surely sing their songs of praise, but to the Prinzessin, this is but one more triumph to add to the annals. Traveler from another world, you have the Prinzessin's permission to enjoy a brief moment of peace. But be ready, for once I have peered into this dark dominion and beheld the treachery within, I shall rain down thundering retribution upon this place. And when the curtain of doom falls, thou shalt give it thy full, undivided attention.
When knowledge is condensed into written form, it is always limited by the writer's perspective and interests. So if we want to learn the truth of this mysterious domain, we'll just have to explore it for ourselves. But then again, I'm lucky that I get to do the exploring together with my cutie. It's a rare treat to have a little time to laze around and not have to think about all the fighting and killing. Still, even lazing around isn't much fun on your own. Do you want to keep me company for a bit, cutie? I can read you a story if you'd like.
Do you think we'd ever see A in the outside world again if there were this many stories to read in her plane of euthymia? I, for one, rather doubt it. I have an idea. Let's tell her that we know a wonderful little domain full of light novels and tricolor dango. It's high time she got out of Tenshukaku for a bit. Ah, yes, and dango milk, too. They don't have it here. Well, don't look at me, little one. That's your job. Sort it out. Where there's a will, there's a way. The novels here actually aren't all that bad. But a little fried tofu and a few drinks would make things better still. So, little one, do you think you could pull a few strings and get your hands on some for me? Without them, I don't think I'll be able to muster the energy to help you explore this domain. Oh, the look on your face, so dumbfounded. I'm joking, can't you tell? Do you really believe the great Lady Guji herself would be so fickle?
It's not often that I have the chance to take a rest before the battle is truly over. I keep asking myself, can I really afford to take a rest yet? And if there are still monsters that have not yet been vanquished, the answer is no. I cannot stop now. You'd like to join me in a moment of meditation? Oh, all right. Close your eyes. Now, join me in turning your gaze inward, to the deepest part of your being. I know you are a formidable warrior, but we must not underestimate the monsters in this domain. They seem to come in endless waves. Nor should you be afraid. I am here to answer your call, and I will stay by your side until every mystery here has been uncovered. With this blade, I shall slay any foe that comes our way.
As a general, I must never break under pressure. I must remain calm and composed at all times, and respond diligently to the changing situation on the battlefield, adjusting my strategy and cautiously redeploying my troops as necessary. As long as everyone works together towards victory, victory is possible, even in the most difficult of battles. Today, the task of planning the operation falls to you. You may use my experience as a reference if you find it useful. I wonder if the almighty Shogun would enjoy the books here. It's common courtesy to return from one's travels bearing gifts for one's acquaintances, so I'm sure the almighty Shogun will not refuse my offering. In which case, perhaps I shall purchase 5 books in my own name to take back with me. But, of course, all this depends on whether the management of this place is amenable to my request to buy the books.
Whenever I'm on stage, I always want to push my music a little bit further and make that one guitar riff even gnarlier. A live gig is a different kind of beast than the ones we're facing here, that's for sure. But I ain't one to back down from a challenge. When the crowd's waiting, you gotta get out there and face the music. Same applies here. So come on, time to do some shredding.
The look on your face tells me you're ready to head deeper into the domain. Next stop, the belly of the beast, huh? Never fear, for Director Hu Tao is here, ready to face whatever comes at us, from the ordinary to the abnormal to the paranormal. So, without further ado, shall we? Let's not keep the monsters waiting. Once I was old enough, I started reading popular novels. Some of them would end by having the dead come back to life and living happily ever after. I know it's only make-believe, but still, it always ruined the story for me. If death isn't final, there are no stakes, so it kind of makes everything that happened up to that point meaningless. To everything, there is a season. A time to be born, a time to die. That is the truth. You can't have a satisfactory ending if death isn't final.
How big do the monsters here get? Maybe even bigger than the highest tree in the Whispering Woods? Anyway, there's no need to worry. I made an even bigger bomb! Da-da-da! Klee to the rescue! Clearing the way for Mr. Honorary Knight! Mr. Honorary Knight! Guess what I found? Loads of stories that Mommy used to read to me! Whenever I shouted out, "No, we can't let that happen!" Mommy would give me a pen and paper and let me finish the rest of the story myself. By climbing through the window, or popping out from a nearby bush, or coming down from a tree, I always found a way to bring Todoko into the story.
The enemies we face are of a lowly breed. Deal with them however you see fit. But do not get complacent. You should expect to fend for yourself, as I am not in the habit of coming to other people's rescue. If you do encounter a foe for whom you are no match, simply make yourself scarce, and I shall deal with it in due course. You intend to take a rest? I concur. You do look quite tired. Self-knowledge is a good trait to have. Better to walk at a slower pace if it means you will travel further in the end. I brought some coffee candies. Here, take one.
The battles ahead are not going to be easy. Look me in the eyes and answer me this. Are you worried? Well, If magic is all about achieving the impossible right before people's very eyes, don't you think the best magician in the land might stand a chance of pulling that off even outside of a magic show? What do you say? Are you ready to team up with the great magician Lyney and see if we can't perform some miracles out there? Two questions. Have you got a moment? And if so, would you like to see a magic trick? Consider it a rehearsal, or simply a little light entertainment to lift the mood. Which deck of cards shall I go with? Ah, yes, this one suits the occasion.
Are you tired? I know a trick that works great. Imagine all the enemies you're facing as delicious ingredients. With all that tender, delicious-smelling food nearby, doesn't it just give you a big burst of energy? Huh? Hard to imagine. Maybe it's just me then. Only a handful of my more experimental dishes have made it onto the Wanmin restaurant menu. In most cases, it's because I think the texture isn't quite right, or the flavor needs a lot more work. But that doesn't mean I'm about to give up. I know there are tasty dishes out there waiting to be discovered, and I'll find them sooner or later.
Do you think that the way fairy tales end is just whimsical? Or do you think the writers put a lot of thought into it? Because if you read them from the point of view of trying to identify what each character symbolically represents, you find a lot of very deep metaphors. Still, in order to verify my hypothesis and see if it stands up to scrutiny, I need to do some historical and cultural research. Maybe I could borrow some of these materials here so I can do a deep dive later. If you think about it, you could define a challenge as a process that's difficult to get control over due to a lack of key information, right? Example, what foes are we likely to encounter when exploring this domain? How many hostile encounters are likely to occur? And what available countermeasures can we use? Take the time to thoroughly consider all these questions, then you'll find that reaching your goal is no longer a challenge at all.
I've always wanted to go off on a big, long adventure and grow old along the way, just like my dad's. I know there's a lot of bad luck waiting for me out there, and if I'm not careful, I might not have the chance to grow old at all. But my mind's made up. I have to do it, because adventuring is my favorite thing!
Maybe it would be nice to read something a little lighter for once. It would be a nice break from the academic texts I usually read. Oh, they give me such a headache. Actually, maybe not. I can't afford to relax yet, or I'll end up missing my next thesis deadline. I can't just rely on the stars' blessing to see me through. Oh, I have to put in the work myself. It's rest time now, right? Why can't I get to sleep? Wait, no! That was it! We have something important to do in a minute, right? Yeah, I can't sleep now. But if I'm not well rested when we head off, I'm gonna mess things up for sure. I really don't know what to do.